Hi, I'm Chaplain Bob Tilli here with the 105th Airlift Wing. You know, one of the questions I get asked a lot of times is, Chaplain, I just want to be happy in my life. I just don't know how to get there. You know, it's a funny thing about happiness. It isn't a goal. If it is, you're never going to find it. It's actually a byproduct of right thinking, of right living, and really right acting. It's actually an attitude. It's the byproduct of an attitude, if you will. And that attitude is found in the holiday that we're going to be celebrating next week. And of course, you know that's Thanksgiving. What makes Thanksgiving special is not just the turkey. And I know the white meat, the dark meat, the stuffing, the football, the sweet potatoes, the biscuits, football, cranberry, yams, football, pecan pie, pumpkin, football, whipped cream, football. You got the message. It's not just the food. It's more than that. And believe it or not, it's more than football. It's what Major Geis and I were talking about earlier this week. It's people. Stuffing their face, of course, but it's people. The reality hit me a few years ago when I joined the Air Force, enlisted. I was at my first assignment about a week before Thanksgiving. And it was a day I'll never forget. It just kind of sticks in my head. I remember walking into the dining hall at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. I smelled the turkey and the stuffing. And I'm thinking, you know what? This is my first year away from home on Thanksgiving. This is not going to be that bad. So I went up with my tray, got my turkey, all the fixings, the gravy, the pie. And then I walked out of the room where you get your food in the cafeteria, and I looked out, and it was empty. There was nobody in this gigantic dining room. And I sat, and I ate that meal by myself. And let me say this, it was one of the worst Thanksgiving I can ever remember. Why? Because Thanksgiving isn't about the food. It's a part of it. It's about relationships. Not a bird on a plate. It's about family. It's about friends. It's about being with a buddy. Happiness is not based on what we have, but who we have in our lives, that we're grateful to have and have not taken them for granted. You know, you need to choose to be grateful for the people in your life. That's just the way it is. It's an attitude of gratitude. And if there's nothing else that you remember, it's this. It's an attitude of gratitude that raises your emotional latitude. People want to know how to be happier. Believe it or not, and statistically, and this has been researched, psychologists, sociologists, and others, that the more grateful you are in life and appreciative, the happier you are. The converse is true as well. The more ungrateful you are, guess what? The less happy you are in life. You're going to be a lot happier in life if you begin to enjoy the relationships. And if you do that more, if you develop a habit of being grateful for people in your life, you're going to change. You know, I love the good book that's in front of me, and it challenges us to remember the good things about people and focus on the good times about people. When it comes to marriages, they often crumble at this point. When you stop remembering why you got married in the first place, what attracted you to that person initially, when you stop remembering the good times, when you stop being grateful for your mate, your marriage is already on a long slide into oblivion. The thought really does count in a relationship. And here's the rub. The longer we come to know someone, the more we tend to take them for granted. In any relationship, the more you focus on their faults, because it's easier to remember the bad times. Because our nature is to magnify the negatives, it's just easier to remember the negative things. If you would just begin to turn the tide and begin to develop this new habit that whenever you think of people, your first thought is, what do I appreciate most about my friends, my neighbors, my husband and wife? They're not perfect. Your kids, your relatives. What is your first thought? Immediately the bad time? Well, how about if we reprogram our response and we begin to say, no, the first thing I'm going to remember is that good time that we had together. That's going to change your relationship, and it's going to begin to change your heart. I often say to people, remember the best and forget the rest. If you want to be happy, remember the best and forget the rest. It's called selective memory. All of us have had bad times in relationships. But if you feast on that, talking about Thanksgiving, guess what? You're going to take a plumb downwards, not upwards. You're going to go in a direction you don't want to go in. Some of you may need this Thanksgiving to just let somebody off the hook, to forgive them for something they've done. How about a friend that needs to be forgiven? It's your choice. Friends, think about the loved one, the son or daughter that's in your life. What are the things that you value about them? Not their faults, but think about their positive qualities. As you think about them, perhaps they encourage you. Maybe they're funny. Maybe they're sensitive. As you recall those special things, do you know it's like glue in a relationship? Those good thoughts literally generate interest, like a bank account. The more you invest in good thoughts, guess what? The interest in the relationship goes up. The more withdrawals, the more bad things you think about, guess what? The interest goes down. Your positive thoughts about your spouse or any relationship literally promotes them, doesn't demote them. And you and I know in the military, the worst thing we want to hear is you're getting demoted. We like promotions. That's what we celebrate. How about you start promoting that special person in your life with your thoughts? Here's the Thanksgiving challenge for all of us. Number one, I want to encourage you and challenge you to write a note of thanks to someone that you care about. And just don't say the general thank you. Thank them specifically about something you appreciate about them, their sense of humor, their sensitivity, how much they help you in life. Let them know. Write it out. Do you know that's going to mean something to them, build it to them, fill their cup? But it does something for you. It begins to start the habit of being a person of gratitude. And the second one, it leads right into it. Develop an attitude of gratitude that will raise your emotional attitude. The Air Force used to have an old saying, aim high. It's time to start aiming high in relationships, being appreciative of the people in our life. Let that begin to change you. You're going to get happier and more buoyant as a result. And last, if you know someone that might be spending Thanksgiving alone, it could be an airman, it could be a friend that's lost a loved one, and this year is going to be a rough season because that mom or that dad or that sister or brother may not be there. You know, sometimes it's up to us to take the initiative and insist that they come to our table. Because remember, it's not just about the food. It's about the people. Let's not leave them behind. I want to wish you Godspeed this Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And may God richly bless you.